Hello and welcome back to another episode of CharlaFootball. I'm your host, as always, Gerardo Jerry Tavares. As you guys can see, I'm missing my co-host today. They're both busy. It's unfortunate because there's Euros going on. Who's busy when there's Euros going on, especially when Netherlands and England were playing? What a matchup, right? But it is what it is. People have their lives, and I have my life. This is my focus right here. And yeah, I was caught up in that game. I was all into the game from the very first moment to the last 92 minutes. And we're going to talk about everything. But before we get into all of it, let's make sure that you guys follow CharlaFootball at CHARLA Football. Make sure to follow on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube because that's what we're on right now. We're still working on that Twitter. And make sure to check out the website too because, that's where you can find all our links. But yeah, support your small creators because together we're going to make it big. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. Netherlands versus England, a matchup that I guess was kind of unexpected from the English side. You wanted them to go to the final because of the players that they have, but overall, they have disappointed throughout the whole tournament. How many goals have they scored in 90 minutes? Only one. This is the first time that they scored 2 goals in the first 90 minutes of a match. Most of the second goals that they have scored, especially in the knockout phase of the tournament, have been in extra time. And they've just been lackluster, no energy, and simply put, they've just been boring. Honestly, Southgate ball has been quite boring for most of the neutral fans and even for English fans. You see pictures of the English fans like knocked out in the stadium, just kind of just ready to take a nap. They nap. They probably have drank too much in the pregame, and they see what they're seeing on the field. And obviously, it'll put anybody to sleep. But on the day, it looked a little better. I'm not gonna lie, it looked a little better, especially those first 45 minutes. And Netherlands, on the other hand, they started off a little weak throughout the tournament in general. I think once they won Romania in a very convincing fashion, they kind of awoke, and they did. In that game, they thrashed them 3-0. They went to the quarterfinals, played Turkey, and that was a very intense game for them. And they got the win in the last few moments of the match. And then moving here to the semifinal, there was a lot of hype around the match. But I think the main difference between the other quarterfinal and this one is that people knew that this was going to be a very tight game. And we did see that in the second half. Like I said, the first half was quite on it. We saw a lot of chances going back and forth, some balls that hit the post, some great saves as well from Pickford specifically. But let's first talk about that Xavi Simons goal. Xavi Simons, this tournament has probably been the second best player for the Dutch, right behind Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo, he's been trying to do everything from that left-hand side. We saw what he's done at PSV Eindhoven, one of the best young players there. Now at Liverpool, he's just adjusting to that Liverpool system, to that Liverpool way. And I think next season he's going to be a lot better, especially with the performance that he put on against England today. It was just exceptional, honestly. But from Xavi Simons specifically, the way he takes the ball from Declan Rice and completely outmaneuvers him he's always on it. That's what I really like about Xavi Simons from his days at PSV Eindhoven now and at Leipzig too. I think where he's recently playing. He's always been a very energetic kind of player ever since he was like 17, 18 when he really broke out into the first teams of these big leagues and big teams. And now I think he's at 21, 22 years old. Or it might be younger, honestly. Don't quote me, but he's still a very young player. He brings a lot of energy to the team. He's quick. He's very smart. Remember, he came up from the Barca Academy, so he has a specific play style to him that is very similar to the Ajax style, to the Dutch style. And I think that's why I say it. He's one of the best players for this Dutch team. He had already scored a goal this tournament against France, but it was ruled offside, and quite unconvincingly. I don't think a lot of people thought it was an offside, but in this game specifically, he scores an absolute banger. And yes, we can talk about Pickford, and he should have done more. And I agree. I think he should have done more. That ball was not top left-hand corner where no goalkeeper could have got to it. I think Pickford just kind of dived a little too low, or I don't know if the ball was just moving too fast for him. But like I said, the way he just takes the ball from Declan Rice, outmaneuvers him, and just sprints right at the defense and just lets it right out. That's what you want to see from your attacking midfielder. And it's not the first time we see something like this from Xavi Simons. Like I said, he's a class player and one of the best players this tournament. I think he has 3 assists, and this is his first official goal in the Euro tournament. Unfortunately, on the day, it's pretty much wraps for Netherlands, and I didn't really want that because I wanted Netherlands to go through. I wanted them to play Spain in the final. It would have been an awesome rematch, kind of throwback to that 2010 World Cup final. But I mean, it is what it is. England, they go through, whether it's deserved or not, that's up in the air. But they were I want to say the better team, but individually they were better, and we saw that with the subs in the second half. But before we get into the subs in the second half, let's talk about England's first half too. A lot more fluid, especially those 45 minutes. I mean, we saw Foden getting on the end of some strikes. We saw Harry Kane have some good strikes as well. The goalkeeper coming in big for the Dutch, and then Saka, pretty consistent going forward, getting past 3, 4, 5 players, but couldn't really get a shot off once he got into that final third. But like I said, a lot better from Foden. Harry Kane gets his goal from a penalty after a shot that I think he got hit on the play during the shot, and I think a lot of people said it was a soft penalty. I don't know, but they tie the game there. It goes into the second half, and the game is a lot more cagey second half. Overall, just completely cagey. That offside goal, which I think was controversial. I don't think it should have been considered offside, because what kind of advantage are you going to get from being a shoulder offside if you're Kyle Walker? I mean, really. But, well, according to VAR and according to rules, it was correctly called offside. But then the moment that completely changed the game, and I know that a lot of people have not really – I know a lot of people have disliked Gareth Southgate, but there is no denying that – I mean, he has had a very successful stint. There's no denying that he has had a very successful stint with England. I mean, he's already taken them to a couple semifinals. He's taken them to finals, the Euro final specifically. So he's gotten them very far. And while it's not playing the most attractive style of football, at least this tournament specifically, I know last year Euros they played very well, but in this Euro specifically, they have let us down. And as a neutral fan, I mean, you want to see England, who have the best players, you want to see them play well. And in this tournament, they have not played well. But for whatever reason, I think individually they are one of the best in the world. There's no doubt about that. And their individual brilliance is able to take them just that extra step, even if they're playing. Again, guys, technical difficulties. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to make sure to cut it in the editing process, so hopefully you guys don't notice it. But like I was saying, an incredible decision and a quite unbelievable decision from Gareth Southgate to take off Harry Kane, who is one of the best players that England have probably ever produced. He's an amazing, if not one of the best goal scorers for England, and one of the best strikers we've seen in the past decade. And he's had an incredible season for Bayern Munich, but we all know towards the latter end of the season, I think he had come up with a back injury, or has been kind of, or you can tell that he's carrying something, and he's definitely shown that in this tournament. I think he's only scored 2 goals, 1 from a penalty, or maybe 2 from a penalty. I would have to double check, but he hasn't been exceptionally brilliant. On the day, he had a few shots. He did get his goal, of course, from a penalty, but I mean, you don't get that same movement you get from him compared to the likes of Ollie Watkins, who was subbed on today. And it was between him and Ivan Toney. And I know leading into the Euros, there was a lot of debate on who do you bring, Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney, but he decided to bring all 3. And maybe a lot of people were like, why are you going to bring 3 strikers? You only really need 2. But I mean, you see that both of them are very crucial in this scheme, even coming in as a sub in the last 10 minutes. Specifically for Ollie Watkins today, who has finally seen his first few minutes, I think, this Euro, and he came up clutch. He got the winning goal, and what a wonderful way to get it. I mean, on receiving the ball with his back behind the net, and then turns the defender, and just an incredible finish. I mean, bottom left-hand corner, the goalkeeper couldn't do shit. Honestly, goalkeeper was just in shock, and I mean, it flew right past him. And then that ball from Cole Palmer, who was also an impact sub. I don't exactly remember who he came on for. Might have been Phil Foden. But, I mean, what a ball from Cole Palmer as well. But like I said, I mean, those 2 players wouldn't have came on if it wasn't for Southgate. And the balls. I guess you can say that he had some balls today to put on these players. Cole Palmer, who has been one of the best players in the Premier League all season. he should have gotten more minutes throughout the tournament, and everybody's been saying that. And it's because of actions like these, where individually he is one of the best players for England as well, and especially this season. I mean, he's shown in the Premier League he's one of the best English players in the Premier League this season. And for Ollie Watkins, he was one of the best English goal scorers this season. I think it was just right behind Erling Haaland. But like I said, one of the best English goal scorers this season. I think he had like 19 goals for Aston Villa, and he secured Champions League football with them. So why wouldn't you give him some minutes? Unfortunately, it wasn't more than 10 minutes today, but I do feel those subs could have come in a little earlier. Maybe he could have resolved the game a little earlier. But I mean, everything happens for a reason. And on the day, Ollie Watkins gets his goal, Cole Palmer with an assist. Those two subs were just a Gareth Southgate masterclass at the end of the day. Like I said, a lot of scrutiny has been coming his way ever since the beginning of the tournament, ever since he lost the final in the Euros. But we can tell that, I mean, there is something to this team. Whether they're playing brilliant or not, they can make it to finals because individually they have one of the best squads in the world, if not the best. So you can never count them out truly. And that's the thing with this final, Spain and England on Sunday. I mean, it's going to be very hard to bet, and it's a game I wouldn't bet on because while Spain are the favorites and they've been a powerhouse throughout the whole tournament, I mean, scoring 3-4 goals on teams and playing incredible football, and we're seeing a different style of directness from them with the likes of Nico Williams and Yamal and Morata up top and Fabian Ruiz and Dani Olmo and Rodri, who's been incredible. I mean, they have an incredible squad overall, right? They have, I think, the second best squad. Maybe Germany might have had a better squad, but I mean, the play style just suits them and suits this team perfectly, and they are the best playing team in this tournament, rightly in the final. But now you're going to come up against a resilient England team who defensively are very solid, obviously. But moving forward, they have players that can change a game in an instant, and while they haven't played fluid football, they haven't played the best football, they haven't played beautiful football, they are still individuals that can change a game. You have Bellingham, all he needs is one moment, and he's shown that already. Harry Kane, all he needs is one moment. Ollie Watkins even coming off the bench, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, all these players, they just need a little bit of space and that one moment. If you give them to them, which Spain can probably give it to them, and as we saw in the France game, you give them just a little bit of space and that moment to shine, they will probably take advantage of it because these players are world class in every facet of the word and every line. They are one of the best players in the world. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Again, Spain and England have always had that rivalry, specifically because of La Liga and the Premier League, because they're always trying to battle for who's the best league in the world. Premier League, I think, is the more marketable league. La Liga is probably the better playing league, but I mean, there's always that competition, and now we're going to see a quite a fierce final. So let me know what you guys think for the final. Who's going to win? Who's going to take the Euros? I'm going to go with Spain just because of what I've seen from them throughout the tournament, but I wouldn't be surprised if England finally bring it home, and I feel like they kind of deserve it. So it's coming home. Football's coming home. It's very possible, guys. It's very possible that football's coming home for England. So I guess we'll see. We'll see on Sunday. We'll see what happens in Berlin. And I mean, may the best team win, right? Well, I mean, that kind of wraps everything up. So like I said, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff. Make sure to keep an eye out on our website and on our Twitter